Okay, we'll get started here. It's 4 o'clock, and we want to start on time. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're all here. I can see a lot of familiar faces, and of course some I don't know. Hello, hi everybody. Yeah. Okay, just some logistics before we get started. So tomorrow morning on Friday and Saturday, we're going to have buses at the Hyatt. And Michael Kelly, where's Michael? There's Michael right there. Michael's going to be in charge of getting you all on the bus at the Hyatt. And there's going to be multiple rides. They're going to start at 8 and they're going to run till 9. And they're going to be probably 3 different rides. And so we wanted to make sure you're here. Don't leave. Don't get on a plane and leave until the end of the event. Also, is Nancy Burson here? Is Nancy somewhere here? No.
Moments away.
What's that?
Moments away.
Moments away. Okay. Harris Fishman. Harris, can you stand up? Harris is going to be showing a short film during the hors d'oeuvres and the drinks tonight at 7 o'clock in room 108 called "It's Not Up to Us," and it's about Nancy and art and the impossible. Okay? And of course, that's not required. You can just eat and drink. But 108, it's literally right there. It's literally, you just turn and it's there. Okay, so obviously I am not Dean Kathleen Canning. Kathleen will be here. She will greet us at the end of Tim's plenary, the second plenary, and then we'll all go into the dean's reception room and have drinks and reception and conversation. My name is Jeff Kripal. I'm here with my colleagues Diana Pasulka, I don't know where Diana's right here, and Bill Parsons, who will be coming soon. This is the third conference of our Archives of the Impossible series. Welcome back. It's great to see you all. I want to begin with just a few words on why I think we're here, and a conversation that will ensue shortly with Gary's talk and then Tim's and then on into the next few days. I will not speak long, maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Then Diana will talk, and she'll introduce both Professor Nolan and retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Okay? So, context. About 7 years ago now, I helped co-create what we eventually called the Archives of the Impossible. Now we call it the Center of the Impossible, and located where the growing collection in fact exists, in Woodson Research Center at Rice University, to distinguish the much larger archival project from my own specific intellectual visions and goals, which I continue to encode as Archives of the Impossible. Dean Kathleen Canning, whom you'll meet later, and Amanda Foke, who's over here, the head of Special Collections, have in truth been fantastically supportive of the Center of the Impossible, whose 16 or so collections now focus almost half the researchers that come to Woodson Research Center and arrive on our campus. And there are over 1,000 collections in the archive. So just think about that. One of them is focusing over half the researchers. As most of you know, Jacques Vallée was our first donor. Jacques' most recent journal entries from 2010 to 2019, entitled Scattered Castles, is the best explanation I've ever read of why someone donates their work to such a university archive. To escape essentially the isolation and separated walls of literally classified knowledge, and make work available to researchers from a variety of fields and perspectives to encourage, continue, and develop this conversation, as it were. The ideas behind the archival collection project were embedded in a book I wrote entitled Authors of the Impossible, where I also featured Jacques' life and writings, but also those of Bertrand Must, who most recently emphasizes the fundamental elusiveness of the UFO phenomenon and compares it to the poltergeist. The ideas of authors of the impossible orbit around the idea that writing can take on a paranormal function because the paranormal itself often expresses itself through writing. Writing can thus respond to writing within a reflexive loop. Writing can be weird, twisted, reflecting and refracting back on itself, seeking healing and wholeness in the midst of brokenness, suffering, and haunting. But we hope to communicate with a much larger public still, including through film and television. Hence, I also began to explore other phrases, particularly what I would call the impossible, which was obviously already encoded in that thought. My editor, Kyle Wagner of the University of Chicago Press, also here, helped me immensely by suggesting that we entitle the book, How to Think Impossibly. What a great title, I thought. So I wrote around that one. What I eventually argued on a gazillion podcasts, and that is not even a real number, and a number of cinematic series, 3 of which are listed in your schedule, and I encourage you to write or watch, is that, quote, the impossible is a function of our worldviews and categories, not of reality itself. Reality is doing weird shit all the time, weird to us dullards anyway. It is also trying to talk to us. We are generally not listening. I think we should shut up, stop thinking what we think, stop believing what we believe, and listen. And that is what I hope the present conference event is most about, listening to what the phenomena is saying, certainly through those human beings or experiencers who have intimately known something of the phenomena through contact or abduction, but also potentially beyond or after those human beings in publicly available thought and theory. Please note that the conference organizers are not proposing any kind of conclusion or conviction in what follows. This is a conversation, not a conclusion or conviction. You will constantly hear me, like an annoying red thread through these 3 days together, say things like, don't do that. That is, don't explain this in terms of your own worldview, whatever that worldview is. This thing is impossible, by which I mean not reducible or explainable within your categories and ideas, whatever they are. Karin Austin, the project manager of the Archives of the Impossible, and I talk about this open-ended, open-hearted nature of our own archival project here at Rice University all the time. I simply want to say this out loud. We are here to encourage the conversation wherever it goes. Our minds are open, so are our hearts. What we are most about in this room is a kind of deep listening to one another, but also to the phenomenon itself, which may not be us, or might be us in some other form. We simply do not know. Neither does anyone else, by the way. They may have pieces and parts, but no one has the big picture. I am not certain of much, but of that I am certain. There is a conviction and a conclusion. That's it. Thank you very much.